One person? What are you doing there, one person? I'm always surprised when someone's there before I am. Is it a bit jittery to you? No, that's just me. I'm jittery. Okay, now I'm back to normal, I guess. I don't know. Let me get things set up and see what's going on here in the world. Um, There's always this fun part at the beginning as I try to get my technology in order. Let's be honest, that's your favorite part too, right? Of course it is. Let's see if I can find the chat on the YouTube studio. They make this thing really difficult to find. Yeah, okay, start. Go live. So there's this. And the one person who was watching left. Hey, it's Katie. Thank you. I appreciate it. I'm getting to watch one of my faves from Dusk Till Dawn. I assume you're not streaming anymore? You had a wild party jumping off over there. I had to get a few things done, so hopefully that's wrapped up over there. If not, feel free to go over and check out Poppin' the Popcorn's 1K celebration stream and wish her happy 1000. Ah. Where are you at? Why are you being so difficult? Okay, good. More like it. Let's get you set up. It's always a party. I bet it is. Whoop, whoop, as they say. So, anyways, yeah, I was going to watch David Cronenberg's The Dead Zone. That's one of my favorite movies of all time. Katie and I just watched Scanners the other night, and I was thinking about it, and I thought that falls perfectly, The Dead Zone falls perfectly into my whole trying to find stuff to watch around Halloween time thing, right? So not too scary, but still, The Dead Zone always lives in like the horror section of any. Well, but I guess back in the old school video stores, but like on streaming services, when you look in the horror section, The Dead Zone usually turns up in horror, even though it's not quite horror. Kara and I are doing a double feature 1K party. Oh wow, she's doing one now too. You guys got it jumping off. I'm so confused. I dipped away to do a few things around the house, and I came back and thought I would watch The Dead Zone, as I was saying, but I was undermined by Jeff Bezos, that SOB. Just the other night, I saw it was on Amazon Prime, and I was going to watch it there. And I kind of planned maybe a little bit of watch party, and then something came up, and I got busy, and I didn't get a chance to get to it. So let me put this a little bit better and see if that gets you some better sound action. How's that? Can you hear me better? Yeah, of course you can. There we go. That's a little better. Otherwise, maybe I can bring you in. I don't know. I still feel like I'm herky jerky. It's my glitchy. Katie, what do you think? Am I glitchy, Katie? Am I my little webcammy for some reason? Oh, okay. You and you guys party is jumping off. Okay, I didn't know you guys might have had like an all night thing going on. You guys set it off, dog. So let me get comfortable with my George Clooney wear there. Yeah, I don't know. It looks a little glitchy, but as long as Katie can hear me, I'm going with the fact that it's working. So if it's wrong, blame her. Anyways, so Katie and I were watching The Scanners on the watch party. You can find that on my channel. Also, so when I wanted to watch it, I saw it was on Amazon Prime, and it was just there like 2 or 3 days ago. So tonight I logged in. I was going to do the big Dead Zone watch party, and damn it, if Jeff Bezos hasn't screwed me again. So, it's back to $3.99 or whatever, and I don't want to have people pay to watch my watch parties. And it's on Pluto all of a sudden, but Pluto's even worse with Tubi with the commercials. Like some of them freeze up and lock up, and you have to reset it. And so I just wasn't in the mood to fight with that. So I thought, okay, what's my backup plan? I'm gonna go with Seven, the Brad Pitt, Morgan Freeman. That's also like a good going into Halloween type scary movie, right? So I thought that's also one of my favorite movies, and I put it on. I started looking for it, couldn't find it anywhere. It's apparently on Hulu. So I don't have the Disney bundle thing right now. That's one of them things I get whenever. So I have it on disc, but that's once again, I don't want people to have to, track down and pay for something to watch something along with me. I'd like for them to be able to find it. I know it's still when things are on Max or when they're on, which is where From Dusk Till Dawn is, whether it's on Max or Netflix. I know you still have to pay for it, but it's one of those things where as long as it's handy and you're not paying extra, whatever. So when I couldn't find Dusk From Dawn, I couldn't find Seven, I started digging around for comfort food, and I found this guy, From Dusk Till Dawn. I'm sorry, when I couldn't find Dead Zone and whatever. You know what I'm saying. So, anyways, I'm going to watch From Dusk Till Dawn, damn it. George Clooney, Quentin Tarantino, directed by Robert Rodriguez. I'm going to get started here in a minute. It's an hour and 48 minutes, so it's currently 2 a.m. I think that's a perfect time to start, by God. What do you think? I think so, too. I'm going to go ahead and... anybody who wants to watch this is currently streaming on Max. I did it. I'm getting so better. I still am going to call Twitter, but Max is almost Max. I'm retraining. So it's currently on Max. I'm sure you can find it some other way. I have like 4 different copies of the DVD if you want to borrow one real quick. But I'm going to start it up. Otherwise, it's From Dusk Till Dawn. We've all seen it. You'll know what parts I'm at. If you can find pushy people that a penny, fuck it. Katie says she doesn't know what I'm saying. Yes, I am going to look at chat. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and start From Dusk Till Dawn since Katie and Bones are in here. Really, that's all I need. That's a perfect road trip right there. I got Katie, I got Bones. Let me see if I can put this down just a little bit so you can see the descent. Why is this being difficult? Go down. Maybe go up. Sorry about that little mini earthquake you had to go through, and I still haven't seen the damn descent. Oh, because this thing's blocking it. There we go. There. All that just to see the bottom of D's nuts. Duh fuck, speaking of Bones. So here we start off with one of the best cold opens in movie history as far as I'm concerned. Before we get started, I'm going to come clean to everybody watching. Even though I'm sitting in front of thousands of movies, so you can imagine how many I've actually seen, this is somehow like one of my favorites of all time. Like it's literally top 10 for sure, top 25, but I love it that much. Like this movie is my jam, as the kids no longer say. So let me get comfortable here a little bit. I saw this in the theater when I was in college. I was stuck at college for a winter break. It was like a total horror movie setup. Everybody else left to go home for Christmas, but I had to stay to play basketball. So I was in the dorms. They were empty, and nothing was going on. So me and one other dude from the team just had nothing shaking and decided to go to the movie theater in a snowstorm. We watched this, and it like made my winter. Like it was so much better after watching this. It opens in this cold open, and they're in a convenience store, and this is what's his name, Michael Parks, and then this other guy is John Hawkes, I believe. And John Hawkes is supposed to be like this badass Texas Ranger, and he comes in, and the movie is just his, right? Like it's all about him, and it's all about like he thinks he's the star of this damn movie. And then, of course, these two have a dialogue for a while, and it plays out to something else. But that's kind of the beauty of it. You're pulled into this world right away. You don't get all these like dumb titles and spinny overload with like, rock music or whatever. We get that later, but right now it's just let's be cool and hang out in this world. Yes, I am ignoring you, fool. I'm sorry, Bones. For what, Katie? That is ignoring you. I know. I hate you two so much. Right now, you're my only friends in the world. I got you two in the chat. The nuts. Oh, I walked into it. Damn it. Here's a whole part that's not politically correct nowadays. But see, that's what annoys me so much. like this whole scene, people would be like, we need to cancel this dude, we need to complain about this dude, etc. Right? Um, because of the mean things he's saying about this special needs dude who works at this uh, diner. Uh, but that's the point. You're supposed to get like what he's saying is antiquated and stupid. So like we learn from the character that he's kind of a dumb dude. So when he, you know, bites it here in a minute, we don't feel that bad about it. 'Cause it's like, oh well, you know, you kind of got jackass antiquated thoughts. I love this slow push in here while he delivers this monologue. One of the things I think I might have started saying this before, that I love Tarantino's writing more than I like his dial or his directing. So anytime I see Tarantino's work through somebody else's vision, I enjoy it a ton. Like True Romance is one of my other favorite movies of all time, because I like, you know, when you take Quentin's dialogue away from him and you make your own movie, it just looks cool and sounds funky and right. I don't know, I like it. Never mind, Don. I saw the nuts. Do you want me to say the fuck? So now Clooney and Quentin pop out from behind the counter, and we see that something totally besides what we think is going on in this movie is going on. Can you not hear me? Is the sound working, I wonder? Maybe. It seems like it must be. I'm going to keep going as if it were, but I don't know. I was suspicious that the sound might not be working. Um, anyways, if you can hear me, say hello. So anyways, Tarantino and Clooney are clearly in the middle of holding up this grocery store or this convenience store before these dudes come up, and they've got these, hi Bones. Oh, see, you can hear me. Bones is always there for me. He knows. Is the sound okay, Bones? Am I just paranoid, or is it working fine? There it is. There's the thank you, sir. I appreciate it. So there's the iconic shot from the cover where he puts the gun. It's a like Dutch angle with the gun in the corner and his face up in the other corner. Mickey's Mickey's were like these little green grenades of malt liquor. We used to drink them in high school. That was like the first thing I ever drank. I had a friend, even though he was only like a year older, he was very insistent that we drink only cheap stuff, so I wouldn't develop like, you know, snobby tastes. I think it was just so he would seem cool when he was only getting his hands on cheap stuff. I don't even know if they still make Mickey's. I haven't been in a cheap liquor store in a long time. I've never noticed in this high definition transfer, you can see in the convenience store, there's like candy behind them, but then there's also adult VHS tapes or Betamax tapes. So now we start to already see 2 seconds in that Tarantino's not quite right in the head, or Seth, or Richie. Sorry, the other one, right? Seth is George Clooney. This is I believe this is Clooney's first movie after Batman. Like he was on ER and then he did Batman and Robin, and um everything kind of went to crap. I know he also did The Peacemaker around this time. Is kind of why I'm making the eyebrows. Um, but Clooney, it was funny that everybody on ER, when he was on ER, people thought, oh, this dude's going to be a huge movie star when he eventually goes back to the big screen, because he was in stuff before. You should get the tattoo like that. I was going to, but this was kind of last minute, Ben. How you doing? Mr. Boone says snoochie boochies. Damn right. Snoogans. Um, So yeah, people thought Clooney was going to be this big, huge star, and then Batman and Robin flopped, and he kind of didn't know what the hell he was going to do because he'd already left ER sort of unceremoniously. They're like, "All right, then, peace, y'all." So this was sort of him slumming, even though he was happy to work with Tarantino and Rodriguez and them. Sorry, we're in the middle of a man on fire shooting a gun. This is always classic. Um, we are at what the hell? HBO Max always does this to me with the 9:39. No. I don't know. HBO Max always screws me. 9:39 and it looks like. Mm-hmm. Professor, how are you, sir? Appropriate you come by. We're on a trip to Mexico. So now Benny's world of liquor is blowing up. And they're fighting. This is sort of, I believe Rodriguez had already done Desperado. So now this is sort of slightly being meta comedy about the whole guy coolly and calmly walking away in slow motion as something explodes behind him, just leaving a wake of mayhem. How are you, Professor? I saw that you were in the ninth circle of hell earlier. I'm glad you found your way back out. Anthony Chabot does. Am I saying that right, Anthony? Is it Chabot? Anthony Chabot does pop culture and openings. Hello, Don. I got 937 subs on my YouTube channel. That's because you're on the road to 1K. Anthony Chabot is the greatest YouTuber in the world. Just ask him. He'll tell you. Do you have a rotating movie room or an endless movie basement? I see your background looks different. Uh, I am I'm an attention whore, Professor Macabro. I uh, I moved the TV that used to be over here to here. So now the TV is under the Time Cop poster. So basically, I made it so all my movies were basically in the shot, except for they're not. This whole side goes up, and then over there, there's some on the other side of here. So once again, foiled. I'm like Wile E. Coyote of YouTube. So here, Tarantino has the bullet hole in his hand that he looks directly through. It's kind of a cool, cheap CGI shot. Then he tapes it up with some duct tape and spits whiskey on it to show what a badass he is. And Anthony, yeah, I just watched, or I saw Sky High, God, probably 15 years ago or whatever, whenever it came out. Yeah, Macabro, of course I am. It's nice of you to be here. I love that shot when we see their muscle car just driving down the road, and we hear "It's a Dark Night" by the Blasters play, and they like do the pan back, and we can see the nice, like, harmless looking school teacher trapped tied up in the back of the thing. I think she's supposed to be like a bank teller or some crap, but yeah, she just does not. As Tarantino puts it in one of the commentaries, he's like, she does not look like she belongs in this gangster movie. Get her out of here. Mary Elizabeth Winstead with Sky High is the villain. Now she's on Ahsoka. Oh, okay. You doing the big Ahsoka watch? That's right. Once again, classic Rodriguez shot. This movie's funny. Rodriguez goal was to shoot this like as a Tarantino movie. So there's a bunch of Tarantino trademark shots in it. So like this, the camera behind shooting over both shoulders as we kind of see the landscape. That's a Tarantino shot. We're getting ready to get one here when they pop the trunk and they look down into it. That's like the total Reservoir Dogs, you know, Pulp Fiction. There it is. So it's interesting. Like we see the world, we see Tarantino's world through Robert Rodriguez's eyes, but Robert Rodriguez is mimicking Tarantino as he does it. So it's like a bizarro Instagram filter over a Tarantino movie. And now there's a discussion of Mary Elizabeth Winstead as attractive level. I don't know if I know her. Like off the top of my head, I'm not imagining what she is. I know if I saw her, I'd know who she was. But leave your thoughts on her in the comments below. Oh, Ramona Flowers. Gotcha. Thank you, Professor. Maybe after Ghoulapalooza coming up here for the next month or so, I'll need a palate cleanser and I'll track down Scott Pilgrim. Yeah, this is one of the problems I have with the movies I watch that I really love. I just get caught kind of watching them with my mouth open, like, oh yeah, this scene. Um, Robert Rodriguez's editing style is like so fast and like clippy, and it just draws you in. It's almost like early YouTube style. He knew jump cuts, and that's all because he just wanted to use the best takes from all over the place. You know, he'd shoot something for 3 takes, and then in take 1 was the best part of this line, and in take 3 was the best part of this line. So he just jumps all around. I'm a huge Robert Rodriguez fan. That isn't like that popular. He kind of fell into like a, I don't know, bro status or something. I don't know. The internet's weird. Like the people on Twitter, that's part of the reason I had to get off there. Like they just, when I found out that Chris Rock was racist against black people, I was like, all right, I got to quit hanging out with y'all. I'll be somewhere else on the internet. Take it easy. So Rodriguez is always kind of my guy. I find him like Carpenter. You know, anybody who can write, direct, score, edit, all of it. You know, the self sufficiency that's people on YouTube get it. You know, you got to have all the skills to pull off what you need to pull off. General Grievous, hello, welcome, welcome. I've never had a member of the Empire here before. Seemed nice enough so far. I love Clooney as a badass. Like in most of his movies, he uses this tone and this look for to be like sexy guy. Like he's just all close up, giving him the sexy look. But here he's doing it as like I'm half crazy and badass, but he's also much in the same way later Salma Hayek like is dominant but also kind of sexy. Like that's what he's there for. I imagine a lot of women are like, do what you need to do to me, George Clooney. Shit. Ugh. And Tarantino, surprisingly, what do you know, plays such a great, creepy, weird dude. Yeah, just great directing right here where he splits the screen in half. And then we keep cutting back and forth, just like using the parallel wall, the wall in between the room and the living room to kind of show the distance between these two. This is really well set up. I love this movie because it's two movies in one, obviously. You know, you get the gangster movie up front, and then all the nowhere, they just pull the rug on you. Like I've known several people, including my dad, who had seen this movie and completely got wrapped into the whole gangster getaway plot. And then eventually, when the vampire plot happens, it was like, oh yeah, vampire movie. I completely forgot that was going to happen. So once again, we got the interior of a diner, because I'm saying this is all in Tarantino world, even though it's being directed by Rodriguez. And we meet Harvey Keitel and his family, Juliette Lewis, and this newcomer actor, so I never remember his name. But this is Harvey Keitel's playing basically um, high pro. Oh, professor. I was confused. Um, Harvey Keitel is basically playing the classic man who's lost his faith and has to re-find it. Um, M. Night Shyamalan, or no, Mel Gibson plays it in Signs, the M. Night Shyamalan movie. He plays like almost the same exact character. Katie 1K moderating the chat like a sweetheart. You need to go to bed. Anthony Chabot likes Huntress. Oh yeah, she played Huntress in Bird of Prey. I just didn't. Birds of Prey wasn't my cup of tea. I liked the James Gunn Harley Quinn best, I would say, and then the original Suicide Squad second, and then uh, Birds of Prey third, and then of course, Batman the Animated Series is the king of all Harley Quinns. You go to bed. We go to bed. So here we get classic Tarantino dialogue where you get a bunch of like backstory, but you also get character building. So we see that this family's, this probably is an unnatural conversation to have on a road trip in a diner, but we kind of learn their whole story in 5 minutes here. And going forward, we understand all the characters' motivations. This is kind of a daring choice for acting for Harvey Keitel. This is one of his first times he chose to like present himself as an older dude. Like prior to this, he's still playing mobsters and tough guys. You can even see in his neck, it's like kind of like muscular still. What's a timestamp here? Appears 2026, it looks like. It's my timestamp. HBO Max makes it very difficult to find the timestamp. They show you how much time is left, but they don't show you what time you're on. You can just kind of see the little bar. Michael Madsen? Me? So here's Kelly Preston. And this is a news thing that's in this movie too. This is called Curdled. This is about a woman. This is like, I believe it's produced by Tarantino. Um, it's about the woman who played Esmeralda Villalobos in Pulp Fiction. She's a crime scene cleanup person, and she falls in love with Billy Baldwin. But there's a scene in the background where like they kind of explain one of the murder victims or one of the murderers of the people who died was the Gecko brothers, and we see a news report about the Gecko brothers escaping on TV and stuff. So Curdled is a weird in the Tarantino universe movie that not a lot of people know about. So I don't know. As long as I'm holding them both and we're talking about it right now, I love this right here. When they show on the news the death toll, and it's like the game show numbers racking up, like currently 16 dead, 3 Texas Rangers. And then here's Jesus Christ, why am I drawing a blank on my man's name? The man from Professor, you're in the chat. What's the dude from Nightmare on Elm Street, the cop, and oh god damn it, why am I drawing it? John. Why am I drawing a blank on this motherfucker's name? Saxon. Thank you, Bones. I didn't know you were there. I need to learn to rely on you too. You're like Spider-Man on Family Guy. Everybody gets one. Yeah, kind of like how Jackie Brown and Out of Sight exist in the same exact universe. Exactly, you get it, Professor. That's one of the things I like about the Tarantino universe is that these things all kind of blend in, and they also intertwine with Elmore Leonard, and um, him and Rodriguez are boys. So some of the Rodriguez movies have little, you know, I guess Sin City, you would call that whole stuff with Clive Barker that's directed by Tarantino, almost part of the Tarantino verse. Oh, yes, that is. God damn. I didn't understand what you were talking about before. There's that. I don't know why this is being problematic. Let me do this. There, that's much better. It's playing glitchy on my end. Bones has already informed me that the sound is fine. Is the video adequate at least? It looks webcammy for some reason on the playback to me. I don't know why, but let's be honest. Nobody needs to really see the visual aspect of me. I'm kind of blue today, anyways, looking. Um, but yeah, that is Michael Madsen Bones. That is a good ass eye you've got there. Um, not to be a sicko about it, but this is amazing. This part where Seth comes home and he finds Richie alone, and he's like, "Well, where's the woman?" And he opens up the bedroom door and looks in there, and he gets just the flash frames of bloody grossness, like Event Horizon does that. It's like, just show me something so fast, I almost need to go back and pause it to see what exactly the hell's going on there. Oh, is it closer to matching my mouth now, or is it? Oh yeah, I can kind of see everything's a bit sketch. If I did this and I moved in a little bit, is the sound a little bit more airy now? But maybe it matches up better. Yeah, it's a little. In case I want to juke somebody, I can shake a linebacker right now. Um, so the Gecko Brothers, the Dewdrop Motel. That's an awesome joke. A lot of people have seen the Dewdrop Inn. It's a clever play on words, very clever. So there, it's the Dewdrop Motel. Like idiots live there. You know? When you start, yeah, Bones feels me. Juliette Lewis. I just learned the other day who Jeffrey Lewis was, and thanks to Mr. Echo Cero. I almost called him Mr. Echo. I don't know if he's earned that distinction yet. But I like this family dynamic stuff we get up front. You get a feeling that um, Harvey Keitel and his family, that they love each other, but they're kind of going through some things, and that's one of the things I like when horror movies do is introduce me to the characters, make me care about them, give me something where it's like, oh, I can relate to them because of this, or oh, I don't like that person because of that, or whatever. So, hey, Karen, awesome of you to drop by. Yes, I love this film too, as well, Karen. This is one of my favorites of all time. Um, oh, and Katie's here as well. Yeah, I love just this whole excuse of why, like, well, why would they even stop if they have the RV? And he explains he just needs to just stretch out in a real bed for a night. Like, all that feels real because you would be mad at yourself later. Like, oh, if we didn't just stop to use a real bed, if we would have stayed in the RV, we would have never got kidnapped. What's this? A punch. Oh, yeah, since Karen's here, Karen, you don't have to watch along, but since Karen's here, I'll remind everybody this is 27:58 on HBO Max. So about 28 minutes in out of a little less than 2 hour movie. Wow, okay, that part's brutal where Quentin Tarantino sticks the gun like deep into the kid's mouth. That's one of the things I'm not sure you could do nowadays, but that really just puts home the, yeah, as Karen called it, the gritty, kind of almost gangster movie tone to it, where you just feel like these criminals are up to no good. But I like that because on one hand, you feel like they're gonna get their comeuppance, like they're bad guys, and we know they're getting ready to run into some damn vampires, and things are gonna suck for them. But then we also see that they're adequate. Like they know how to use guns, they know how to like control a situation, they know how to like, basically almost minor military or whatever type things. So that way, when they run into the vampires later, it's believable that the fight is going to be a good fight. So yeah, we're a half hour in and we've already learned that Tarantino's insane and like up to no good when around women. So as soon as you see he gets alone with Juliette Lewis, you're like, oh no, this isn't gonna go well. And the camera just that's awesome direction by Rodriguez there. The camera like kind of just leers over her body, like sort of, trying to sneak looks. But then we cut back to the wide shot and Juliette Lewis is just sort of standing there confused, like, okay. Just yeah, great pacing and tone just through editing. Oh, beer. I was gonna say, I thought I was bereft of a beverage, by gosh. Thank you so much for coming, Katie. You're awesome. Congratulations again on 1K. For those of you who are unfamiliar with Katie, you can find her. I don't know, Katie, if you have time, put a link in there. Otherwise, I believe if on some, I don't know, you can sometimes find people's link in there by clicking the buttons, but I think that's only for the moderators. So I'm often confused about how these chat things work. But either way, check out my dear friend Katie from Popping the Popcorn. She's a very sweet woman. She's got all sorts of good movie content. If you like a change of pace from my smart aleck nonsense, you can get more sincere opinions and on these things. Very heartfelt as opposed to my snarky jerkness. One of Clooney's best. Yeah, yeah. That's I was talking about earlier. How after Batman and Robin flopped, he kind of took this as like a fallback plan. Like, well, I guess I'll just do this Tarantino movie, even though it's super low budget. Because when he did Confessions of a Dangerous Mind, it was the same thing. He got in on the like Charlie Kaufman was this writer who did adaptation and Being John Malkovich and a bunch of other stuff. And George Clooney was in on the Charlie Kaufman train immediately. So he took less money to work with Charlie Kaufman and be in a Charlie Kaufman movie. And he kind of did the same thing here. It's like he knew Tarantino early on was going to be a big deal. So work with him now before it becomes a pain. And they develop a relationship, and Clooney shows up in Tarantino stuff all the time in little cameos and whatnot. Yeah, just like this. Normally, this would get cut out of a script where he's like, put in your bit, and then he like takes out the little like Invisalign type deal and puts it in his mouth to get like his teeth straight because he grinds his teeth. Totally unnecessary to the plot. Has nothing to do with anything, but it's like a humanizing moment and it breaks the tension. And it's just character building. It's real world stuff, but that's the type of thing that they would cut out of a normal Hollywood movie because who cares? Does it show up later? Like, does he need the bit to protect him from the vampires? Then get rid of it. I love this. Like, Clooney's just like looking Harvey Keitel up and down, much in the same way I talked about how the vampires were an even match for the um, for the gangsters. Sorry, one second, I got caught. The beautiful cinematography. The same way that the gangsters and the vampires are a good match for each other, so you're anxious for them to battle. Like George Clooney and Harvey Keitel are kind of equals, right? So they you feel like they neither one gives any like ground to the other. So when George kind of acts tough to Harvey Keitel and Harvey Keitel acts tough back, it just all feels right. Let me move this like this and bring this in just a little bit so I'm not so crowded. Yeah, this is once again classic good just character writing. Like they establish that these two aren't friendly, but they're willing to like just deal with each other to get this over with. Oh, anyways, I was in the middle of busting these out before, so I can put them away. I got the curdled. I busted out that before. Then I got the regular widescreen DVD of From Dusk Till Dawn. At what point I thought I had the super bit, but I don't, or maybe I got rid of it. I don't know. The one I've liked and I've watched a million times, and the reason I call this one of my favorite movies of all times is this edition right here. This has both the regular. Oh, maybe there's the super bit. Yep, there you go. There's the super bit. Um, this has the regular movie edition with all the special features and a commentary track by Tarantino and Rodriguez together. But more importantly, on that disc, it's got the making of, and then there's also a separate disc that has a movie called Full Tilt Boogie. And sometimes you'll find Full Tilt Boogie on like uh, Netflix and other places I've seen it. I think I've seen it on Prime as well. It's a good documentary about filmmaking and like the camaraderie of being a filmmaker with the other people you're making a movie with, and they really just like tell this story of them rebelling against the union. And right now it's very timely because of what's going on with all the writers strikes and the producer or director strikes and stuff. Sorry, I'm distracted because this is Tarantino doing his weird foot fetish thing where he's just looking all over Juliette Lewis's feet and her toenails and stuff. I like this was one of the first indication. One of the first times I think I noticed that it's like, damn, they really try to paint up Tarantino as a foot dude, huh? He's got the weird soul patch. Spicy, welcome. Spicy, I just followed you earlier. What's your real name? Or are you cool with me calling you Spicy? Because that makes it sound like you extra fun. It's so hard keeping track of everybody's superhero and their real life identities, their alter egos. Juliette Lewis is probably playing 15 years younger than she really is. Nah, she's probably 25 when this is made, and she's playing it like she's like 17 or 18. It is so good. Underrated classic. It's just yeah, oh, here's one of Cheech's first appearances. He plays three roles in this. Obviously, the most famous is the Putang speech when he comes rolling up on the titty twister. Spicoli. That'll be easy as hell to remember, for sure. Well, nice to meet you, Spicoli. I'm Don. How you doing, man? Let me get you a better adjustment. The stream tonight's kind of glitchy and weird, and sometimes the sound isn't lining up with the mouth. I don't know. YouTube might be overwhelmed on a late Friday night with people live streaming their club escapades or whatever the hell they're doing. There's no way three people could fit in one of those small RV bathrooms. Like even like the shower in there and stuff. I've tried to take a shower in there before and it's just ridiculous. You know, hunched over. The way this is all shot though makes it look real claustrophobic. It's very believable. Movie magic. Good tension building here with the father and the son. I'm at the part where Spicoli, let me see. I'm at the part right now where they're at the border and they're getting ready to search the RV. 3915 looks like. Yeah, that's the border, and they're getting ready to search the RV, and then they Cheech shows up, and we see Juliette Lewis. Yeah, here comes Cheech getting ready to knock on the door. Horror Lives Matter says the second half is much better than the first half. I like both equally well. That's the thing I like. It's sweet and sour. It's both. You know, it's a good gangster movie up front. And we do all this character building and get to care about these folks and their story, and there's sort of this tension with this crime, thing. And then it just all goes out the window. And I love that about it because that's to me what would really happen in a horror movie. You have all this real life stuff on all of our plates. Each and every one of us has stuff that we got to worry about for tomorrow and oh crap and this. And then all of a sudden it's like, werewolves? I wasn't expecting werewolves. Why are werewolves here? And that's what I like about this. It's like, well, we're just doing our gangster thing. We're trying to get to Mexico, get a clean getaway, and vampires. I wasn't expecting vampires. Nobody expects the Spanish Inquisition. Spicoli found me. Yeah, they're in the this is the part where Tarantino and Clooney are arguing in the bathroom, and you can see Juliette Lewis just only does face acting in this, and she kills it. Yeah, Harvey Keitel just all of these shots. Rodriguez is a master of this. He knows how to shoot actors so they look good. Like everybody gets hero shots. Like his portrait photography is just fantastic. Every character looks like somebody important with important things going on. I like that Cheech somehow worked out a way to play three roles in this. First act doesn't have Salma. That's I can't argue with that. See, that's yeah, you're right, Vaz. Yeah, you got me there. That's one of the reasons I like this movie is it gives me so much I like all in one little less than 2 hour, and that's a key to me loving movies. Is it less than 2 hours? They cram a gangster movie with this whole getaway kind of exciting, almost like the movie The Getaway, except they squeeze it into like 40 minutes or whatever. But then we also get this crazy vampire movie with the crossbows and the water balloons full of holy water and all this like just wow. But then they're also like, here's Salma Hayek, and we're gonna make George Clooney like one of the ultimate badasses in movie history. Like they Seth Gecko is a guy that shouldn't be so tough and cool. That's a dumb sounding name, but instead it's like, nope, cool as hell. Once again, good directing of tone. Like they build all this tension at the border, and then they get through, and then suddenly George Clooney's mood changes, and he's all happy, and like patting him on the shoulder, and he's like rubbing the kid on the head and stuff, messing the mop it up. Like you feel the emotional journey. A lot of movies just nowadays play slow, and it's like you can tell a good story by going fast, unless And then the Marvel movies and all that, they tell it too fast. It's like, slow down. Video Tasties. Yo, yo. What's up, Gareth, my man? I actually, what was it you watched today, Gareth? The Exit Wounds? Was that the one with DMX? I get the Seagulls confused. But I need to stop by and watch that. I saw you were watching it by yourself, and I was like, oh shit, I should have dropped in the chat, at least kept him company in there, but I was running busy this afternoon. So anyways, go over to Gareth's channel, Video Tasties, and make sure you check out him talking about all the Steven Seagal movies you can stomach during Seagal September. Or as I call it, Seagal Timber, and he gets mad. Yeah. Far out. Actually, Gareth, I changed the posters earlier today, and when I changed the Descent poster, I thought of you because of your interaction with Neil Marshall. Hell yeah! So then we pull into the Titty Twister, and this is just straight up Mad Max, like just fire and all this. Like I want to go to a bar like this. Holy cow! They spend the entire budget of that they make every night on alcohol, like their profit just goes right back around into pyro. All right, put your kids to bed. We're gonna try to get through this. Let's see. Pussy, pussy, pussy. Come on in, pussy lovers. Here at the TD Twister, we are slashing pussy in half. Give us an offer on our best selection of pussy. This is a pussy blowout. All right, we got white pussy, black pussy, Spanish pussy, yellow pussy. We got hot pussy, we got cold pussy, we got wet pussy, we got smelly pussy, we got hairy pussy, we got bloody pussy, we got snapping pussy, we got silk pussy, we got velvet pussy, we got hide pussy. We even got horse pussy, dog pussy, chicken pussy. Come on in, you want pussy? Come on in, pussy lovers. If you don't want it, we don't. If you don't want it, we don't have it. Come on in, get your pussy. Come on. Now they cut away, which is good. My voice needed a break. Got a real you don't fuck with me, I don't fuck with you attitude going on. So everybody just keeps playing it cool. I'm talking about you too, Richie. Attention, pussy shoppers! Take advantage of our penny pussy sale. If you buy one piece of pussy at regular price, you will get another piece of pussy at equal or lesser value for only a penny. Try and beat pussy for a penny. If you can find cheaper pussy anywhere, fuck it. Thank you. Thank you. Cheech is 3 times, I believe, Gareth. No, Spicoli, I've never been to one of these. I've been to a few wild ones. One time I was in a strip club and I saw a dancer with a tail, like a vestigial tail. I didn't know that was like a real thing, but a buddy got a tail dance. But no, I never been to one of these flamethrower bars where they turn into vampires. Oh, Karen's here. I forgot. I'm so sorry, Karen. So then George Clooney beats the hell out of Cheech just to prove a point. It's like, why? We like him. So now here's Tito and Tarantula. One of the first songs I ever downloaded off of LimeWire was Tito and Tarantula After Dark because I couldn't find the disc anywhere. That was like before you could get online and track stuff down. So trying to track down Tito and Tarantula was impossible. Garrett's offended. He's parting his purple hair out of his face and storming off disgustedly. Oh, Danny Trejo, look how young he is. Which means he's like 45. So Danny Trejo's explaining to him, you're not welcome here. It's only for bikers and truckers, which is a good, like we've talked about before on some of these other movies, how you want to get beats of action or beats of horror. So right now we're still in the action phase of this movie. So we need some sort of crime drama action beat tension kind of deal. And he gets in the bar, Danny Trejo gives him flack, and the bouncer comes over and there's like this escalated tension, but then it gets diffused. But in all that, they interject that this is only for bikers and truckers, which explains why no one like reports the missing people. Bikers and truckers are the most likely to be like, who knows where the hell they are, especially before GPS and all that. Oh, now Gareth is white knighting the chat. You got to be careful with Gareth. He'll come in here and sissify the whole place with his modern ethics. I'm going to need a throat lozenge after that pussy monologue. Take that however you want it. Oh, just a quick cutting action pace. This is all great. Yeah, just the introduction to vampire world wakes you right up. It's like, all right, we've had this whole gangster movie thing, and now we're gonna just slowly transition into wild Mexican vampires. He just kicked a drunk out of a chair. Like he just walked up on him and just gave him the good knock over with his foot. I'm so excited because there's why I'm excited. Tom Savini just hanging out in this bar. And there's Greg Nicotero. What's his name? Fred Williamson? I think that's his name. I know him more as a football player than a movie star. He was in, I think, OGs or Original Gangsters or whatever with Pam Grier and maybe Isaac Hayes or something. And there was the Sex Machine's gun. That's also from Desperado. So technically all this is obviously connected to Desperado universe as well. But yeah, there was the two barrels and the one. I don't even know how that gun would work. There's no trigger on it. I mean, I know how it works. I took sex ed. But I mean, logistically, as far as like trying to murder someone, I don't know how that gun works. Like, hey, Juan, that trucker you sent down never came down with the merchandise. Yeah, exactly. So now they're doing shots of the, what is it, tequila? Yeah, I think it technically is because Danny Trejo is Uncle Machete. So is the Machete universe in some way wrapped around to this besides being Macabro is my multiverse expert. If I have anybody in a room with the red strings like tying everything together, it would be Macabro. once again, great writing and cool tough guy stuff where he like starts getting drunk and then he starts thinking about the dude he's mad at from like 5 minutes ago. That's realistic. Like, dude, what are you stewing about that for? That scene's 5 minutes ago. It's like, yeah, because I'm drunk now and I'm angry about past grievances. Yeah, I need to move to the titty twister. I'm cool with being a vampire. Like, even the background characters that are unimportant. There was just like a dude with a big head of 80s hair and like some Ray Bans on, like some aviators. What's your story, sir? Are you a biker or a trucker? Or both? Spicoli says, of course, it's tequila. Yeah, that's what I figured. But then, see, but George Clooney's white. So I couldn't remember off the top of my head. Did he order like whiskey or some shit? Because doesn't he say, oh, that's in uh, Ocean's 11. He's like, give me a whiskey and a whiskey. And once again, the musical tone. It's like he's a conductor. Now all of a sudden everybody's chilled out again, just like an angry drunk is likely to do. Settle your ass down, George. And he's like, okay, I want you to do a shot with me as my friend. And then Harvey Keitel's like, I'm Harvey Keitel, MFer. You know who I am. And now, for your viewing pleasure, the mistress of the macabre, the epitome of evil, the most sinister face on this earth. Lowly dog, bow your head, kneel in worship at the feet of Santanico Pandemonium. This is stolen. Santonio Pandemonicum is stolen from a title of a Spanish horror movie. You can still find it, like on might even be on Tubi. That's the type of thing you could Google and find. Santanico Pandemonium. Salma Hayek dancing for him and serve beer with his feet. Right? I think at one point Clooney says that in like the making of footage. He's like, so let me get this straight. I have to fight a giant rat monster, and Tarantino gets to put Salma Hayek's feet in his mouth. If you watch real closely, there's a scene where you can see her slip on her high heels. She just stumbled, but then they quick cut away. But it was funny. Yeah, just a perfect song. Only After Dark. And Snake getting real friendly with Salma. But even also this band, I believe, is like buddies with Rodriguez. Like I think he's good about helping out his friends. I like that about Rodriguez. I like a lot about what's going on here. It's very, if you want to talk about a test of commentating abilities, trying to focus while this is going on. It's like trying to call a World Series game while I'm getting a lap dance. Even Tom Savini's mouth just fell open. Think of the things Tom Savini's seen. Forget Tom Savini. Imagine that poor like 15-year-old kid. He's like, I've been adopted, brought to America, and holy shit. Best Selma scene, Desperado or this. I don't know. She's at the peak of her seductress powers right here. Like she could probably get me to do whatever she needed me to do. Don, I want you to rob a bank for me. I'm like, yes, ma'am. I already on my way. Yeah, they've shot her from virtually every angle, and there's no way where she is not just like that's an unreal beauty expectation to put on other women. By God. But cheers to Salma Hayek. She's a fine actress. Wow. That's got to be wire aided, where she stands on the one foot and licks her own shin. I think that defies physics. That's a good cutaway to Juliette Lewis. Her reaction was interesting there. Yeah, yeah, it's hard not to be an objectifying pig. I apologize, Salma. And you're a lovely woman with a lot of fine qualities, and all of them are shaking in all the right directions right now. See, this the reason part of it I think is so sexy is it knows not you don't have to be nude. She's not even in a thong. She's basically in a bikini, like underwear or whatever. So yeah, just it's all movement and light and the moving along with the music and just knowing at the right time to let her hair down, and I don't know, all the tricks are on display in one shot. There is quite a roller coaster. Now, that's what I call a fucking show. That's right, George. Me too, buddy. Whew. Here's And once again, I keep talking about almost like how Robert, like the story is being told like a music. It's riding the waves and tones. And now we're gonna go after this. We're gonna release from all that like buildup of whoa, a damn near pseudo sex scene. We all need to smoke a cigarette, and we're gonna go right back to angry dudes in bars, and they're gonna turn into vampires. It's just the tone, the roller coaster of up the hill and then down the hill real fast, and then the loop de loop. And yeah, such a well-made movie for it's basically just a schlocky B movie, but it's got a lot of a good pedigree to it. Great cast. I guess I never thought about how Quentin Tarantino gets to kill Danny Trejo there. That's interesting. Not really though. So yeah, I believe this is Cheech's second character we've seen of him so far. He's been the border patrol, and now he's the I think his name's like Pussy Hector or something like that. Like his name's something absurd like that for the front door guy. And then he's the old boy at the end that they're all waiting on. Yeah, here's the part where someone's looking at Tarantino's hand just dripping with blood, and this is great. Now all of a sudden it's Fright Night. We're in the mind of the vampire as you see him craving blood. Like, this is all great. And of course, out of bullets. This has a weird vampire vibe to it. Like the vampires are, I think they call them vamps, even like not quite vampires, because everybody's sort of a weird. Like Selma's kind of a snake because she has the snake and all that. But then like there's a rat guy later, and there's bats, and there's all that whole vampire mythology where they turn into not just bats, wolves and stuff. For some reason, that all faded away before black and white movies went away. And there's Vamp Danny Trejo, Vamp Cheech. Every time I see Danny Trejo now, I think back to the Halloween where I went as Machete, which, by the way, I totally should be canceled for now. I'm very aware of that. Thank you for not canceling me. Um, but I'm like trying to do the reverse woman, like with makeup. I'm like trying to draw the lady with the sombrero or whatever on my chest in the mirror. It's all like backwards, so she kind of looks goofy and all the pictures. But yeah, whenever I see Danny Trejo now, that's what I think of. Is man, that's hard work getting that tattoo there like that. Mushy vampires are better than sparkling vampires. I agree. I totally agree. Well, and this is cool because it digs into like, you know, at the end when they do the pullback and you see, what is it, a Mayan pyramid or is it Aztec? Mayan, I think. Whatever. When you pull back and you see the pyramid, you kind of get a feeling that these folks have been here for so long, doing this forever. You know, so this comes with its whole built-in story. It isn't like we even needed uh, part 2, Texas Blood Money. What does that say? Yes. Lots of action. How's that for a quote for you? Lots of action. And then, and we didn't really need part 3, The Hangman's Daughter. But these movies right here were so awesome that they just knew that they could make a couple of cheap bucks off of making the sequels, even though everything you need to know about the lore is all just in this one movie. And there's the scene where he kills 4 vampires on one table. Efficient. Clooney gives good jaw clench. Like that's one of his moves. He'll give you like a jaw clench and a head turn. That's bad. So of course, to get Tom Savini in the movie, they have him do backflips and kill 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 vampires with one pool cue. There's Danny Trejo wire work. Okay, so yeah, I bet that was wire work before when Salma was holding her leg up. And now Tom Savini's got a bullwhip. Because why wouldn't you have a bullwhip in a bar? Well, that shows how little time I spend in the Texas, Mexico area. In Wisconsin, that's irregular. That's not a thing we have here. I like this. The way she's framed uh, chandelier. The chandelier is set directly behind her head. Normally, you avoid juxtapositions when you get a shot like this or whatever. But the chandelier looks like a crown on her head, so you can see she's like queen bitch. You know. But it also works because we can see the chandeliers there. So when he shoots it down and it crushes her, it's Chekhov chandelier. Good reaction to the vampire catching on fire and turning into a mess of goo. Just sort of like, mm. Yo, Monkey Man. Yeah, Fred Williams is a bad motherfucker. Stumbled over my words there because I didn't really know what to call him that would do him justice. He's that badass. He did the Bruce Lee, except he just stole his heart while it was beaten and then kills him with a pencil. Cold blooded. Let's get a little bit of room here. Yeah. So yeah, here's where he just stabs him in the heart with a pencil. I like all this because it's gross and it's kind of like you turn your nose up at it, like some of the effects, because the effects are well done, but it's all just fun. Like there's no real, there's a sense bad things could happen to our characters, but really it's more just good time shenanigans. Once you see the penis gun and you see the 4 vampires getting killed on one table, you kind of understand, oh, this is fun. Oh, it makes perfect sense, Professor. Yeah, it's made out of wood, so stabs it. But that's kind of the funny part of it. Like he's holding the heart, and the guy's still standing there. He just like looks at it and just stabs it with a pencil, like nice and smooth. This commentary for this movie is one of the first times I ever learned what later I learned in the Evil Dead 2 commentary was that the ratings board doesn't like the color red. So if you can make your villains have blood that's some other color than red, preferably green or black or something, you can get around a lot of like an X rating or an NC-17 or whatever by just eliminating some of the red and getting more towards green or black. Now let's kill that fucking band. He's done a couple Macabro. He's real rare on doing them. He doesn't ever really do them for his movies. It's strange. Um, he did True Romance on the disc. Him and Tony Scott watch it together. Um, and he also did a commentary track for Switchblade Sisters. What the hell's the alternate name of Switchblade Sisters? Um, is that I Call Her One Eye? No, or is that's the other one? That's Thriller. Anyways, Switchblade Sisters. He does the commentary track for that too. That's one of those he bought under his Rolling Thunder production company. And I think there's one for the Rolling Thunder movie with Tommy Lee Jones. Who the hell's in that? I can't even remember. Um, I believe he did one for that as well, but I've never found that one. There's one that what the hell's it called? Like the one-armed assassin or something. And the box says that there's a commentary track by Tarantino, but then the movie itself, it's not on the disc. It was like one of the first times I ever knew I couldn't trust that bastard Harvey Weinstein. Spicoli knows True Romance is great. Yep. I was talking about that earlier, I think, before you got here, that I like when Tarantino writes and somebody else directs. So True Romance and this are two of my favorites. I really like Natural Born Killers. I know Tarantino hates it, but I don't like it as much as these two, as True Romance and this. Um, I like to see someone else's visual interpretation of his tone and his mood and his writing and all that. So True Romance is, yeah, just fantastic. What if you mixed a Tarantino movie with Days of Thunder? What? No, no, trust me, it's great. Actually, let's mix it with Revenge. I recommend that Tony Scott movie. Revenge is great. So now they've killed damn near everybody in the bar, but they realize outside is no place they want to be. Except for the fact that I just rammed a wooden stake into my brother's chest because he turned into a vampire, even though I don't believe in vampires. Aside from that unfortunate business, everything is hunky dory. Mm-hmm. And then she's like, I'm really sorry. I'm so sorry your weird, creepy sex offender brother got turned into a vampire. Keitel's accent comes and goes in this. Most of the time, he's pretty good, but every now and then it just wavers back into Harvey Keitel. You forget about it, I'll smack your face. Huh? You looking at me? That's a De Niro. Karen loves Revenge too. Yeah, Revenge is a wild ride. That's one where you have to have a different set of sensibilities. That could probably be on Garrett's get canceled list. Because what's her name? The woman in it, Madeline Stowe or whoever the hell it is in there. She takes a beating. That's a rough movie for her. But Anthony Quinn is a bad dude in that movie. And of course, you know it's a good movie if Kevin Costner comes off as like this just evil revenge badass dude. Macabre, it's the Steven Seagal accent acting. It comes and it goes. It's sketch. On the commentary track, I remember Rodriguez saying that this set was the most crowded set he's ever been on. Like normally sets are kind of chill and you can sort of talk to your actors and explain to what you need, and maybe like the director of photography comes over and talks to you about lens choices or some crap. But he's like, not the titty twister. He's like, every rando from the crew, like weird drivers and stuff, are just like hanging out trying to look at boobs. I bet. That's like on the documentary that you see the assistant director like, okay, can we please clear the set? Not everybody needs to be in here looking at titties. Thank you, Spicoli. I had Star Wars and Idiocracy in there until earlier tonight. So since Halloween is coming, I changed it over to a couple horror movies. And out of the horror movie posters I had, those were two of the better ones I found. I love that part. She's like, I'm Kate. He's like, hi, I'm Sex Machine. Here, another just great bit of business. She's supposed to go over and put a stake in this guy's heart, but she's kind of, she's a human. Doing this is unnatural to her. She doesn't feel right about stabbing somebody in the chest with a plank of wood. So she struggles with it. It's like good, a tiny bit of character building just in sort of a comedic little, 30-second shot. I wonder how many, like, is this maybe Tom Savini's biggest acting role? Like, I know he's been in a bunch of movies. He was in Night Riders and stuff, but like, as far as letting him talk and be on screen and be like a key member of the cast, like, I don't know. I have to look at the Tom Savini oeuvre. Professor added a DVD copy of Irreversible, not to rewatch, but I saw it, didn't own it, and was like, geez, I might as well get it for the collection. I don't know if I've ever seen Irreversible. I don't want to hear anything about I don't believe in vampires because I don't believe in fucking vampires, but I believe in my own two eyes, and what I saw is fucking vampires. Now, do we all agree with what we're dealing with is vampires? And they're all like, meh. Yeah, this for some reason this all feels real to me. This feels like a conversation you would have to have in this moment. Like, okay, look, now before today, vampires seemed very dumb, but at this moment, we're gonna have to just go with the idea that vampires are real. So let's just check this arguing thing at the door real quick. Shout out to Peter Cushing. What's Irreversible about, Professor? Why am I drawing a blank on that movie? This is funny. They get into an argument about silver. Does it work on vampires? The other guy's like, no, that's werewolves. And he's like, no, that's silver bullets. But like, I think there's something about silver and all that. And I did all this research for this documentary about werewolves I've been working on. And in there, I learned where that all came from. Like, they used to take things from silver from the church, like usually goblets used for communion or sometimes candlesticks or whatever. And whenever they wanted to kill something evil, they would take that silver and they would melt it down into some sort of knife or whatever because it was supposed to be extra holy. And then just along the lines in the lore, that became like an exclusively a vampire bullet or a werewolf bullet thing. But yeah, in some of the early vampire stuff, you see where silver affects them for whatever reason. but it's mainly because it's supposed to be silver from the church. You're welcome for that rambling, pointless bit of trivia. So now Harvey Keitel goes back into Harvey Keitel mode. Like, I've had enough of you and you're pushing me around, Mr. Funny Pants. Who the hell wears a wife and Salter tank top with a suit coat? Tacky, tacky, tacky. But yeah, here's where they unravel the whole bless the tap water. Yeah, that's what I would think, Professor, that they would use probably just the same, Caro syrup and then probably green food coloring for the blood instead of the usual red. Caro syrup is kind of red to begin with. Well, it's sort of a brownish, blackish, it looks like maple syrup or whatever. I bet you could probably add some green. Don't they add something else to it? Like some sort of glycerin or some crap to make it like a little bit thicker. Oh, Jello powder, maybe. Something like that. No, that's for the red. Maybe you can add lime Jello. I don't know. Once again, this is a great shot over Clooney's shoulder, and then you get the Keitel sandwich in the middle there, and then on the backside you're framed by the sun. That's one of the better 3 shots I've ever seen in my life. Like, yeah, I'm a big Robert Rodriguez nut holder. That guy's awesome. There's always room for Jello. Damn straight. Second beer. Oh, I love this part where Fred Williams goes into the damn Nam flashback. I was lying in a muddy ditch. Like, oh no. Really? Now, in the midst of all this, you want to go into a Nam flashback, bro? Come on, man. Let's readjust for the last little bit end of this here. This is just, yeah, this is great writing. Absolutely no reason whatsoever to have a Nam flashback in here. But it's really just misdirection so we can see the Tom Savini's in the background going through where our vampire changes. Distracted myself with that whole werewolf discussion. So I finally climbed out of this hole. And then I love how later on you can't hear him, you can only hear the voices in Savini's head. But then when you can see like his pantomimes of what he's doing and how he's stabbing everybody, so you kind of know the story even though you can't hear it. Yeah, I don't know how this is not. This is one of my favorite movies of all time somehow, but I'm not sure this is one of my favorite vampire movies of all time. It's more just like a fun, good time overall. But as far as like the vampires of the world go, I've seen better vampire movies, but this is just so much fun. This and Fright Night are probably this Fright Night and Lost Boys are like my trilogy of 3 fun vampire movies. I've still never seen Near Dark. I should probably be kicked out of movie fandom for that. It's always on something I don't have. It's always like on IFC or somewhere. Whenever I'm in the mood to watch it, it's never available. So now Tom Savini attacks Fred Williamson and also bites Harvey Keitel. So Tom Savini got just beat up everybody left, even Clooney. Yeah, so Tom Savini's the Rat Man. That's who it is. Why does Fred Williams know karate all of a sudden? He just like strikes a pose. It's some pretty bad blue screen, but pretty awesome though. Fred Williams, they open up the door and all the bats fly in, and Fred Williams turns around, and all the damn bats come flying in. You can even see kind of the blue chroma key lines around him, but pretty cool shot. And then now they have to run through the Nosferatu Hall. What is it about vampires? They insist that doorways must be shaped like coffins. It's weird. That's a tip off. If you're ever dating someone and all their like doorwells are shaped like coffins, they're vampires. Get out of there quick. Suspenseful theme playing. I love a good parenthetical music note. Vampires growling. That's pretty awesome. He takes the shotgun and then combines it with a bat to make a cross. Around the same time this came out, John Carpenter's Vampires came out around, like within a year on either side of this or whatever. And they kind of canceled each other out. Like I felt like this was the better of the two, but at the same time, Carpenter's Vampires is a fun time. It's I think James Woods being the lead kind of hurts it, even though I like James Woods as the lead. Like I like Videodrome and stuff, but yeah, I've seen 30 Days of Night Care and still haven't seen Near Dark. I've always wanted to. That's one I never heard how great it was. And then it got cult film status. And when people told me check it out, it was like hard to find. It was either out of print on DVD or whatever streaming service it was on I didn't have. And then especially when Bill Paxton died, they were hyping up, got to see that. But yeah, 30 Days of Night I've seen also. I enjoy that as well. Not quite on the tier of Lost Boys, this and Fright Night 1. Fright Night 2 is good too, though. I like Fright Night 1 better slightly. Um, my favorite, probably Dracula type vampire movie, is probably Francis Ford Coppola's Dracula. Although, oh damn it, what's the one with the old school? Um, um, Not Peter Cushing, but Christopher Lee. When God damn it, I can't remember the specific vampire one I'm thinking of. Is it the Terror of Dracula? Maybe. There's one where he is just straight up Darth Vader in that movie. Like he's got the big cape and he's all extra tall and like normally the vampires are kind of like I don't know Bela Lugosi, but Christopher Lee's Dracula, like he's all humongous. He's the type that like swallows him up with the cape deal. So this fun little montage of them just digging through crates. All right, let's let some tension out of the story real quick before we get back into the big fight scene. We'll have a little montage of silliness. Excuse me. Michelob, my fault. I like how they specify with an insert shot that those condoms full of holy water that they're throwing at the vampires are actually rubber like water balloon rockets, and they show the rockets box so that way they don't get in trouble with the censors. No, those are water balloons, bro. And that's a cool idea, putting the cross on the tip of the bullets. Once again, playing the orchestra, conducting the orchestra just right. We're getting ready to have the fight with the vampires to close this out, the big climax, and the father wants to stop and have a talk with his kids about, you know, whether or not they'll kill him if he becomes a vampire. We got to have this euthanasia talk real quick here, which is funny because his son is Asian. That was a terrible joke. That was maybe the worst thing I've ever said. I want you to swear to God that you'll kill me. Here's Robert Rodriguez's famous trick. He does this in all his movies, and it's so smart. I've learned this, like, if I ever have to shoot a short film. He just puts George Clooney against a wall and tells him to react to nothing. Like, act like you're surprised at what's going on. Okay, now look left. Okay, now look right. Now look left. So then when he films this Harvey Keitel scene, he can cut around what he wants. Like, okay, from take 3, he really delivered this line, or in take 2, it was out of focus, or whatever. So he can jump back and forth between what takes he wants by cutting away to George Clooney reacting to nothing. Like, it's probably wasn't even shot on the same day. Ominous theme playing. Doesn't totally make sense why they would allow them to get out of the hallway. I mean, I know it's movie logic. In real life logic, you would want to keep them bottlenecked. I'm on your side, vampires. Let me think for you. Clearly, you guys got a lot going on. Let me devise a game plan for you. I'll have George Clooney defeated. Look at me selling out the human race. And now here there's a whole bunch of special effects, and some of them are kind of half shaky because they hadn't totally mastered CGI and other, like, chroma key stuff at this point. But there's a whole lot of Vampire Massacre going on. I like to imagine that Gareth was eating breakfast in England and then had somebody in his house walked by as I was screaming about what a tremendous deal on pussy I could get them. Oh, dear Lord. Yeah, it's hard not to get wrapped up in this. Just these fight scenes, and just even the people in the background, they're kind of interesting. Like, they're just sort of milling about with the intention of looking like stuff's going on, but a lot of them aren't doing anything. Like, the dudes in the backs are just kind of doing this. Like, yeah, here's the part where Savini's head gets cut off and it grows back as a giant rat head. What the hell? So much action. Like now, yeah, like the first half was just all like this slow burn gangster, Elmore Leonard Tarantino dialogue stuff, and then now just the last half has just been all monsters trying to bite necks. And Salma Hayek, I just thinking of her, I made me lose smart alecky words. Never mind. Why do they explode? That isn't explained in the lore. I would like a prequel comic about that. Why do they explode when they get when someone shoots them with a crossbow arrow? And there he stuffs the gun through Fred Williamson's chest and then shoots somebody behind him and then pushes the gun forward and cocks it using the guy's rib cage. Like this movie's a great excuse to just do silly gags. Yes, sketchy special effects there, but still awesome. Green vampire blood is as volatile as nitroglycerin. Professor's got a decent answer. The green blood is yeah, maybe it's more explosive. And now Harvey Keitel's a vampire. And he's like a weird hobbit vampire. He looks extra scary. It's like a mere troll. First thing he does is bite his own son. he, he made him promise to Jesus that he would kill him. So then when it came time to kill him, they did a close up and he's like, I swear to God in Jesus Christ's name. And they do a quick close up before he shoots him. Like they really played up the drama of that moment. Like, and now the child actor gets it worst of all. Like everybody just starts eating him. One dude on his neck, another dude eating his elbow, one dude eating his knee, one dude eating his ribs. Tom Savini didn't even get it that bad. His name was Sex Machine. That was clearly some mannequins right there. But that's sometimes in movies I like that. Like I like when there's little minor things where it's like, okay, that was a mistake. Sometimes that helps. I don't know. I like when the stormtrooper bangs his head on the door. And now perfect timing as the all is lost moment has occurred and we're completely surrounded and it looks like they don't have enough bullets. Rays of light start beaming in through small holes in the whole place. So the bullets they have left, they shoot holes in the walls so they can get rays of light to save them. In real life, this would not work like this at all. The light would not be in perfect concentrated rays like that. But in movie logic, totally. That's exactly how this would work. You can even see all the smoke in the room, like to make those light beams be more visible. Carlos is here. Cheech's third character. That's not. Oh, okay. Cheech's henchman was like a Robert Davi look-alike. And once again, big explosion. Everybody runs away. And once again, a gag. the light comes pouring in and it starts banging off the disco ball, and you get all these rays of light as it's spinning. So all these little just beams of laser sunlight are just spinning around the room, setting everybody, all the vampires on fire. It was almost like this whole script was like, let's just come up with vampire gags. Like, what would be a good visual way to kill a vampire? Okay, now write down 10 more and get back to me. So Cheech explains to him, I've never even been here before. I just drive by it sometimes. Looks like a rowdy place. Figured it'd be something you were into. So what were they, like psychos or something? Is that what they look like? They were vampires. Psychos do not explode when the sunlight hits them. I don't give a fuck how crazy they are. That's awesome. So now in his dismay, in frustration with almost being murdered by vampires, he starts renegotiating the deal. I was pondering George Clooney's decision here at the end. Like, Kate kind of wants to go with him. Like, her family's dead. She has nowhere to go in the world. She's in Mexico. She doesn't really know how to get home. She's going to have to figure out how to make the RV work, I guess. So she kind of tells George Clooney, like, you need me to hang out. He's like, I'm an asshole. I'm not that much of an asshole. Like, I can't do that with you. You're a child, basically. But I mean, I guess that's grooming and all that. It feels like he could kind of like look out for her for a little bit because after what happened. But I guess there might be tension. That's the complexities of a story that you need to make it interesting or whatever. But yeah, of course, this older dude shouldn't be messing with this teenage girl. That's gross. But also, abandoning her in Mexico feels kind of weird too. I don't know. Have some restraint, Clooney. Do the right thing. He's just caked in, it looks like a wall and aliens. I never noticed before she says, do you need some company? She like does a hair thing. Like she kind of, tries to seduce him almost. No, Juliette Lewis, you weirdo. Basically, she's just playing an older version of her in Cape Fear. Like she's a slightly more mature version of the dopey girl in Cape Fear. And they all drive off into the sunset, or I should say, off into the dusty horizon. But we're gonna get my favorite pullout then. It's such a good button on this movie. Like you tell this whole story, and it's like, yeah, but we need like a high note to go out on. Like everything's been so musical. Like all the notes have been just right. It gets slow, then it gets fast, and then it calms down, and then it gets excited again. And so now we need a button to walk out on, and we see this old school temple. Awesome. And then yeah, the blasters come up again. And apparently Max also has From Dusk Till Dawn 2, because they're pushing that on me next, starring Robert Patrick. I got to admit though, the Dusk Till Dawn sequels are really good because well, they're not really good. They're cool because they do a good job having all the like B movie actors that you love in them. You know, Robert Patrick, and I see Danny Trejo's in it again, and I can't even remember who else is in it. But in the third one as well, it's like that. What did I just do with the third one? Third one's got what's her name, Rebecca Gayhart, and is Danny Trejo in this motherfucker? I guess. Oh, he's in all three of these. Good for you, Danny Trejo. I'm impressed. Anyways, but that was From Dusk Till Dawn. It's one of my favorite vampire movies, but just one of my favorite movies. I think all the performances in it are good. I like the writing is good. I think the directing is good. It's just it the same way you can't explain why you love a favorite song is like the same way I can't explain why I love From Dusk Till Dawn. Not to mention, I mean, it's From Dusk Till Dawn. I'm a dude who's up all night. It might as well just be called Attention Don. You know, like it. The movie itself is just a fun, good ride. Clooney's cool as hell. Robert Rodriguez directing is just a masterclass. Like everybody looks so cool in it. Like they're all shot close, but they know just right to push in. Like yeah, just a masterwork for a low level B movie vampire movie. It's my type of thing, and I salute it and cheers. By gosh. So I think it's time to wrap up with since we can get out here under 2 hours. We're at the hour and 51-minute mark. I would like to thank Hobbs for joining us, and of course my guy Professor Macabro, my man Spicoli from Spicy 4K Action, Karen from Ocean Chicks Films. She's the coolest. Let me see what's is anybody I'm missing in the old chat participants. Oh, that's all done now. So thank you for watching and joining me in this late night thing I do sometimes. You're the best. I appreciate it. And if you're watching in the future, and please say hi in the chat, and be sure to check out all the people I've mentioned and been thrown out here over the course of watching this film. The people who appear in the chat make this whole thing for me. It's part of the reason I enjoy it. So thank you for those who didn't stop by. You know, you're awesome. And I agree with Professor. Take care, everyone, and good night, all. I think that's a perfect way to end it. Thank you, Professor. Good night, all.